Could you just explain what a diplomatic boycott would mean? I'm assuming that doesn't mean athletes. It means something narrower. And then secondly, coming so soon after the meetings with President Xi, what does that say about the meetings this last week? Were they not constructive? That the president would be considering this big move?
Sure. Well, let me take the second question first. It doesn't say anything about the meeting. They didn't talk about the Olympics during the meeting. It wasn't a topic that was discussed during the meeting. I would note that we've said from the beginning of this administration, as it relates to how we engage with China, that we see it through the prism of competition, not conflict. That is our objective, that the president is going to raise issues where he has concern, and he's going to look for areas to work together. And his lengthy 3.5-hour meeting the other night was certainly a reflection of that. Both areas where we could work together and areas where we have concern were raised, as you all know from the readouts following the meeting. But, there are areas that we do have concerns. Human rights abuses, you've seen not just in words we've used, but certainly in actions we've taken at the G7 and other sanctions, that we have serious concerns about the human rights abuses we've seen in Xinjiang. And certainly there are a range of factors as we look at what our presence would be. So I don't have any other update for you, Amr. I certainly understand the interest, but I want to leave the president the space to make decisions.
Is it possible that you could just, at least broadly, because I'm sure a lot of Americans that are interested in the upcoming games and a lot of athletes want to know what that could potentially mean, what diplomatic boycott entails?
I certainly understand that. I just don't have an update on where what our presence will be.
And then, does the White House have any reaction to Oklahoma informing National Guard members there it doesn't need to abide by Pentagon vaccine rules?
Sure. Well, first, Amr, of course, the Department of Defense is the appropriate place, but let me, since you asked me the question, what we're talking about here and why there are requirements in place for members of our nation's military, including National Guard, is we need to ensure that we are really ready no matter what to protect the United States. And as Secretary Austin has conveyed, a vaccinated force is a more ready force. And that is one of the reasons he has been has led on this effort to implement this requirement of vaccinating the total force, including the National Guard. So in accordance with that, we've been encouraging all states to continue to offer the vaccine, inform their members that it is a federal requirement. And we continue to believe that no leader should be getting in the way of any action that will ensure or prevent or hinder operational readiness for our military, which is something certainly the Secretary of Defense has conveyed.
And one last thing on Canada's Prime Minister called the tax credit that the President said he'd be speaking with Prime Minister Trudeau about a clear violation of the updated North American Trade Agreement. Does the White House have any response to that?
We don't view it that way. I think it's safe to say. I would say that in our view, Amr, the electric vehicle tax credits is an opportunity to help consumers in this country. It's not the first time that there have been incentives and tax credits to help consumers, lower prices for consumers, help incentivize a move towards a clean energy industry, something that is good for our climate. Certainly, yes, good for businesses here in the United States, something that will help create good-paying union jobs in an industry that's already starting to head that way, but it's something where consumers would benefit. And obviously our view is that we have a great relationship with Canada. The President is very much looking forward to the meeting today, and there's a lot of ways we can discuss working together on economic issues, strategic issues, addressing the global pandemic, and I'm sure they will cover a range of topics in the meeting today.